So here I am blogging from my bed. I decided I needed to do this blog immediately. I posted a link earlier today regarding a Judge Mathis show. He was talking to a man that had 9 children, 1 on the way, could not remember the last time he'd worked or where it was he worked because it had been that long since he worked, who was collecting Social Security, which is also known as welfare in Canada, and apparently, quote, had a record label, as most, quote, black men would like to say they have. So basically Judge Mathis set his ass straight and said, you are the prime reason why there's a stereotype on black men about being deadbeat fathers. And I have to agree with him. And I'm so tired of men automatically thinking that women who agree with this hate men. Because that's not the case. Like I had to explain to somebody. And I'll just read you my response. So one of the people on my friends list, forgive me once again, muscle relaxers, so I'm talking a little slow. So my girlfriend said, this is so disturbing I can't even watch it. Men like that make me scared to have kids, which I agreed with. I said, trust me, they're walking donors, meaning they're walking sperm donors. And that tends to be true. So he said that's true, but a lot has to do with the system to make you guys hate men like you are now. Now, that I have to absolutely 100% wholly and solely disagree with. Me, being somebody who knows how the law works in the sense of obtaining child support, going to court for child support, visitation, etc., it's all based on the best interests of the child, and I repeatedly tell guys over and over, if you feel like you need to take your baby mother to court because she's pissing you off, acting like a bitch, whatever the case may be, and you no longer feel the need to deal with her, you have every right, just like the woman does, whether you have custody of the children or not, to take her to court and get the judge to assess child support. Yes, obviously the judgment will be against you. However, it is based on your income. She will not get more than she deserves or more than you can afford. It doesn't matter how much she makes. It's not based on that. It's based on how much money does it cost to support that child a month, and how much money are you making, and how much of that money can be contributed to the well-being of that child. So, no, the system has absolutely nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. The system, what the system is trying to do, places like the Family Responsibility Office in Ontario, and I'm sure there's something similar to that down in the States, I'm not sure what it's called, but basically they go out there and they try and get deadbeat fathers to pay their child support. They keep track of how much child support is owed, including interest, yada yada yada, when's the last time a payment's been made, etc. They'll even track down to visitation. So they're trying to get them to pay it. They're trying to get them to mine children, which is not happening. So let me read my response to the system is the one that wants to make us hate men like we are now by saying this guy is disturbing and it makes you not want to have children. My response was laughing my ass off. Whoa, Lewis, don't go making assumptions. If I hated men, why are so many on my list? Which is true. If I hated men, why would I accept their friends' requests on Facebook? Wouldn't that make me a lesbian? If I hated men, I would have nothing to do with them. I would be a lesbian, which I am most definitely 1,000,000,000% not. I don't hate men. I'm just disappointed and ashamed of the black men that can be categorized with this punk bitch in the video clip, which means I am disappointed and ashamed of those type of men. So, listen carefully at this point, because a lot of you seem to miss this. I'm sure your blood may be boiling, because here's what you need to listen to. Do not message me angrily about that statement unless you are a deadbeat father, because that is who I'm discussing. And if you are a deadbeat father and you are angry about that statement, Frankly, you can call somebody who cares, because I really don't. You're, like my other video said, you're a piece of shit. Wear the badge proudly. I said, I love men, straight goods, and the system is made for the best interest of the children. Perhaps you should watch the clip again and listen closely to what the judge says. It's men like him that create the nasty-ass stereotypes. So yes, perhaps the system is hoping to bitch slap enough deadbeats hard enough with the book to break the damn cycle, but that clearly isn't happening. Why? Because people brush off the neglect of millions of children as the system, quote, hating on men. And if we're going to bring up system talks, like the judge said, how is it that black women that come from the same upbringing and bad homes and broken families and poverty lines, etc., and system, quote, system regulations, manage to raise all those children that the same men neglect? So let's not use the, quote, system as a scapegoat. As long as men use that as a scapegoat, they will never stand up and be accountable for their negligence, irresponsibility, immaturity, and straight lack of human compassion. End of story. Because that's what it boils down to. If you do not make an effort to stand up and care for something that you brought into this world, especially seeing as how it's a human life and matters, then you are immature, irresponsible, negligent, incompassionate, cold-hearted, and a lot of other things, and the list can go on, and those will forever be understatements. Men need to start minding their children and stop making excuses. Stop talking about how the baby mama's a bitch, and the baby mama's that, and baby mama and baby mama and baby mama. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody does to you. Nobody should have the ability to do something to you that you would now turn your back and stop minding a child that you have created and brought into this world. And this goes for all those deadbeat mothers as well. So FYI to the men of the world that continue to support and advocate for and defend these deadbeat ass losers that happen to unfortunately breathe the same air as us, which if I had the choice, they'd be euthanized. Please keep it in mind that the men can initiate court proceedings when it comes to assessing child support, and please keep in mind and stop bitching and moaning because you are misinformed and you're sounding like an idiot. Please stop assuming that the court is going to award the baby mother a gold mine. It's not happening. It is based on your income and based on the expenses of minding that child. She will never get more than she can afford. I actually took my son's father to court and I got less than I was actually asking for initially. I got less than what I was actually asking for initially. And just so you guys don't sit there and say, oh, I was asking for too much, just so you guys know the facts of the case, I was asking for $200 a month. And guess what? The court assessed that as too much based on his income because he happens to be a lowlife who chooses not to do anything with himself. And if his family or him happens to see this video, it is true. He is a piece of shit that chooses not to do something for his child. And that's just fine. That's just fine. But, like I said, I went to the court. I didn't get more than I deserved. I didn't get more than I asked to. I didn't get more than he could afford. And somehow, magically, he still manages to not afford less than $200 a month. Now, most people spend that on, like, a phone bill and, like, I don't know, fast food or something. Gas money. I know I spend more than $200 a month in gas money, I'll tell you that much. So for me to now take that money and spend it on my child wouldn't be a problem at all. I wouldn't even question it. But some men have complications with compassion and such. So that's how I feel about this whole baby mama, baby daddy, who's deadbeat, who's not, what's the system doing to so-and-so, who's stereotyped this, stereotyped that. At the end of the day, black men need to stop the bullshit and stand the fuck up. And that's just what it is. Break the stereotype. You guys created it, you can break it. And the only reason why it's not broken is because you guys continually choose to make excuses for yourself and point the finger elsewhere except for your damn self. Hold up a friggin' mirror and point the finger at you. Because you're a deadbeat. You're a piece of shit. Wear the badge proudly.